Hi, this is Remco Janssen. We're here at European Women in Technology by Maddox. So here with me today is Mayke Nagtegaal. She's the CEO of MessageBird. Hi Mayke.
Hey.
Great to have you here. So tell me a little bit about MessageBird. You guys raised around 50 million euros in funding. You're one of the biggest Dutch scale-ups at the moment, hoping to become maybe the next Adyen. Who knows?
Who knows?
But you all started out in a garage. So how did it all happen? What's your journey here?
Well, now it sounded really, really easy.
Yeah, exactly.
So we raised funding now already 1.5 years ago, and of course that's a big thing in the company. But we just started out building out the company. It's already founded in 2011, so it's a little bit longer existing than other startups. And we were at the stage that we were looking at each other. It's are we really gonna do this? And so we decided to raise funding, and we were lucky that we were able to get good terms, and it felt good. So in September 2017 already, that was the moment where we actually start accelerating.
And so this was basically the first big institutional round, right? I mean, no outside big funds?
We were fully bootstrapped before, yeah. The team was with I think around 30 people at that time. So also for the size of the team, we had a pretty big round, especially it was a Series A. Usually it's C or D round at this volume. So it was pretty significant, and also for us it didn't make a lot of changes on day one, but it was more the mindset that changed. We're really gonna do this.
We're a scale-up now,
yeah.
Shit's on,
yeah.
Like we say in Dutch. So tell me a little bit about it. You had a garage, literally, as your first office.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Yeah, well, it was that's where everything started. And in the beginning, you don't need a lot. We're a tech company, so we can work from anywhere in the world. Also, if we do our company trips, we can just pick up our laptops and work from anywhere. So we're not we don't need a lot to get shit done. And yeah, so we really enjoyed ourselves there, but especially after the funding, the team was getting bigger. You need a bit more facilities.
Bit more serious.
Yeah, a bit more serious.
I even saw a picture. You just said the word "get shit done," which is sort of the company motto.
Yeah.
But there was actually on the toilets, no shit gets done here because it was too close to people actually working there. Was it that bad?
Yeah, we only had 2 bathrooms at that time, and especially when the team start getting bigger, it was kind of you had to introduce some rules about how to use
privacy
the bathroom.
and
yeah, exactly.
Is this a kind of startup, I would almost say struggle or hustle, that really builds a good team culture? Because you have to, well, you're really crammed with each other. You really get to know each other. Is that also super important to build a real culture there?
I'm not sure if it's super important, but it's more it's good for, I think, the general mindset that you don't need a lot in order to be successful. And I think if you're building a company and a team, and you think it's dependent of many circumstances and good circumstances and materials and blah blah blah, but actually I think we showed that you don't need a lot in order to be successful. And I think that's still in the DNA of the team. Even though we're now moved to a bigger office with more facilities and more grown-up phase, I think it's really important to realize even there that you don't need a lot in order to have a nice office vibe.
So we see now that in the Netherlands, more and more scale-ups of your size are increasingly aware that culture is what really builds a stellar company. So how do you maintain that culture right now? You're going to move to an office, 2,000 square meters, even bigger, I guess?
Even 4, but we're already there since August.
Since August?
Yeah.
So it's in the Rivierstraat, it's called Cityside.
Yeah.
It's marvelous, I've been there. So, but how do you maintain that startup-ish culture there?
Yeah, so culture actually has nothing to do with your office space. Culture is all about people, and I think a lot of people, I get this question a lot also from the team when they joined, hey Mayke, how are you gonna maintain the culture? And what I really try to do is empower them from day one. It's guys, it's not only about me. it's not about me. It's about our team. It's about like how we work together. And if you make people responsible for culture as from day one, and they actually like the culture is gonna expand organically. And I think what's really important is that the first few people, of course, have led the fundament for the culture. And you need to fight for it every day to keep it as it is. But you should also be flexible and give other people the room to bring something and make sure that every single person that joins can be authentic in a way. And I think that's what makes our culture.
So I know a few people that work at MessageBird. There are quite some characters there as well. So how do you blend all those characters into sort of really like a get shit done vibe that they actually perform?
Yeah, so if you only have like people of the same kind of like characters, I don't think it will bring you very far. I think the power is within like the differences in people, and as long as you have respect for each other and realize that like culture is not like my way or the highway, but culture is like allowing each other to be yourself, be authentic, and be very powerful in who you are. Then there's no issue.
It sounds almost like a cliche, but still it's so hard. I mean, we're here at Women in Tech, Women in Tech series, or European Women in Technology. They have 4 different names for this conference. But if you want to build a company that's truly diverse, for some reason, for a lot of tech companies, that's hard. Do you have an explanation for that?
Well, I think a lot of companies have the ambition to do it, but it all starts with like, you should just do it. And if you're really gonna think about culture like and try to create something that is not authentic, then it's really hard to maintain. And I think by just like hiring people that are like that are authentic, then it's gonna be a blend anyhow, and you don't have to worry that much for the culture.
But do you actually have some set rules? Okay, we want to hire X amount of women in the company. People from different cultural backgrounds. Is that something that you actually write down, or is it something that you just, automatically do?
Yeah, we do it automatically. I don't say we're never gonna write it down, but like we're now close to 200 people.
200 already.
200 already, and last year
wow.
We hired 100, and 44% of the people were women. Like without having those rules in place, we have over 30 nationalities. We have there's all kind of languages going on the whole day, like Russian and Spanish, Portuguese, and I think that also we really like that, and we're open for it. But yeah, we don't have a fixed set of rules. No.
No, because this is a huge discussion in the United States, where even big tech companies like Google and Facebook and Uber are struggling to do that. So 44% is really high. I think it's actually higher than most companies in the Netherlands. But you don't really pat yourself on the back for that. Is that something that you should maybe do more even?
I don't know, to be really honest.
No?
No, I don't know.
Does it feel too much like bragging? Maybe?
I don't know. I just find you just need to find the right person for the job. And I think if it's good in the fundament, then you don't have to worry that much. It's never a question whether we should hire a man or a female. It's just I think the DNA is good, and therefore we have the mixed the mixed genders, the mixed nationalities. It doesn't really matter what your background is.
Yeah, for you it's normal. So
yeah, for us it's normal. Yeah.
And it's always, if normal is outstanding, it's hard to actually communicate that externally. I get that. So you have this splendid new office. You have offices in the US, but you're the CEO of this company. What's a CEO, and what does a CEO actually do? I'm always wondering. Really?
Yeah. Well, a CEO is it's a very broad role, and I think in every company it's different. But for us, it's you really well, as Robert said, our CEO, it's the right hand of the CEO. And I think a lot of CEOs, especially if they're founder CEOs, they're very visionary. So I'm really a CEO that's really focused on execution. That's also what I like to do. I like to align the teams. I like to worry about all the internal stuff. And so that's what we have in our dynamic. But I think if you look at other CEOs of different companies, they can have a different kind of role. It really depends on the needs and the strengths of the CEO.
So you're doing operations, because that's what CEO, Chief Operations Officer. So how does the operations look like? What do you have to do all day?
Well, that's a really hard question. And it's also...
And it's the most interesting question, I think.
And it's ever changing. So I think what's really important in my role is that you really adapt like what the company needs at that moment in time.
So what does the company need right now?
Right now, as I said, like we're close to 200 people. So alignment, communication is really important.
HR?
Also, HR is super important. Yeah, that's still like I do HR myself. I think because it's like so important for the.
You don't have an HR director or an HR team?
We have an HR team, but we don't have like HR head of people or VP people.
So maybe that's your next step. I'm not. Yeah, could be.
Yeah, we're definitely looking for someone, but we're always a bit like careful, like who we're gonna place there, because it's so important that you find the right person that really truly believes in the values and is authentic and.
But is that also a bit of the pitfall that you might be looking for somebody who's exactly like you to do the job that you're doing?
You should definitely not be someone that is exactly like me, for sure. No, of course, but like as the company scales, you have to set the priorities right. And in the beginning of this year, we were with only like a handful of people. So HR, like a formal HR, was not that important, especially if your culture is right. But over time, like now we have to maintain 200 people and like the onboarding and offboarding and like questions. So of course we had to create an HR department, but I would rather call it like people than traditional HR.
Yeah, you have to fill in this form and here's your pass and that's your desk.
Yeah.
So does it ever daunt you that now it's 200 people, but it might be 1,000 or 10,000 in the future if you continue this kind of growth? It would scare me.
Yeah, it doesn't scare me because I feel that we're kind of like, you're in a journey and you do what's like in the best interest of the company. So it could be that we are with 1,000 in a couple of years or with 10, that I have no clue. But we're not hiring people for just like hitting numbers or want to be a big company. We really look like what's needed. And we're always focused on like engineering, hiring sales teams, and then you of course have the business support functions around it, and it should all be in balance. So if you have an HR department of like 25 people, then that's too massive for the current team we are with. But so it's balancing the team and balancing the dynamics, and it could be that we are with a lot of people, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe IPO in the future, who knows. So maybe this is the moment, because you're hiring so many people. How many vacancies do you have right now?
I have no clue. There are like a lot.
25, 50?
No, more. I think close to 80 or so.
80 or so?
Yeah.
So maybe this is the moment where you can actually pitch. Why should people work for MessageBird?
Why should people work for MessageBird? I think if you're looking for an environment which you can really be yourself, looking for a high-pace, fast-growing company, don't want to be bored, you should definitely join MessageBird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mayke, thank you so much for this interview. It was great.
No, thanks. Thank you.
Good luck with the journey.
Thank you.
Cheers.